I actually have not read this news story yet, so we'll read it together, you and I. Crown drops bail violation charge against Freedom Convoy organizer Tamara Lich. I don't know if you saw, but last week I had a great conversation with our newest rebel, Robert Krachik, who's been doing a good job covering the trial in Ottawa. I was there for a day, and I think Robert says I chose the worst day to come because they had a bureaucrat testifying who very early in the day said, I've never met Tamara Lich, never spoken with her, never emailed her, never seen her, no contact with her, I know nothing about her. But now let me testify to my thoughts and feelings about the convoy for the next 8 hours. So this is a trial upon which Tamara Lich's freedoms hinge, and her co-accused, her co-defendant, Chris Barber. So your feelings about the convoy and that you need therapy and you just want a shoulder to cry on, that's all very interesting. But her criminal trial is not the place for that. Her criminal trial is to get all the facts into evidence, have that evidence challenged, poked, prodded, reviewed, cross-examined, and put before the judge along with the law, and then determine whether or not Tamara Lich broke the law. Instead, and Robert says I was there for the worst day of it, I listened to hours and hours of some city bureaucrat who didn't know anything about the trial, but just really wanted to talk. And frankly, it was outrageous that the court allowed a literal know-nothing, a confessed, admitted know-nothing. And I'm not saying that as an insult. He just knew nothing. I mean, why don't I go testify about Tamara Lich? I had never actually interacted with her either until after the convoy. I didn't meet her or talk to her until after. So I can give you my punditry. That's what this guy was. He was a pundit, but he was under oath, being asked questions by prosecutors at enormous expense to the taxpayer. It was so frustrating. I had thought that I would be going to Ottawa all the time to cover this trial, but I couldn't. Robert says things more interesting than that have transpired. So let me read this story. I have not seen this story before. Let's read it together. Can you show me the headline just for 1 second? Crown drops bail violation charge against Freedom Convoy organizer Tamara Lich. The Crown is no longer pursuing a criminal charge against Freedom Convoy organizer Tamara Lich, alleged she violated her bail conditions last summer. Oh, right. That's when she was in Toronto for a Freedom Gala, and someone took a picture of her, and in the picture was another trucker, and she was arrested for that and jailed for that because, oh, you're breaking your bail conditions. It was a disgrace that she was arrested. They put out a national warrant for her arrest, which is very rare. That's what you do if, like, there's a murderer on the loose. Let me read the story. This, by the way, is in the Toronto Star, which hates Tamara Lich. The Crown is no longer pursuing a criminal charge against Freedom Convoy organizer Tamara Lich that alleged she violated her bail conditions last summer. The bail violation was scheduled to be heard in court next week, but the Crown stayed the charge in the hopes of using some of that time to deal with Lich's main charges. Given that the substantive matter has gone on longer than anticipated, the Crown wishes to prioritize it and see that it is that probably means completed in a timely fashion, Crown Attorney Siobhan Wetcher explained in court Monday. Yeah, they were too busy giving 9 hours to this bureaucrat to give you his thoughts and feelings about the convoy. Lich was released on bail in early 2022 after spending more than 2 weeks in jail following her arrest in the final days of the protest. She was allowed to return home to Alberta. Later that summer, she was arrested in Alberta on a Canada-wide warrant after being photographed with one of those organizers at an award ceremony in Toronto. She spent another month in jail before being released again. Lich's lawyer, Lawrence Greenspan, said the breach charge never should have been laid in the first place. So a small win, but damage done. She served a grand total of 49 days in prison, most of which was for that inappropriate charge that they just dropped. And I would say they dropped it for reasons of government incompetence because they're not managing the trial. But I think I told you this analogy before. I'll say it again. If there's one witness that saw you do something, I was there, Your Honor. I saw it with my own eyes. And by the way, I filmed part of it on my phone. And by the way, there's a closed circuit TV camera that captured it too. I remember exactly what happened. I saw her do it, Your Honor. I saw it plain as day. That's a terrifying witness. One witness is all you need. But if you've got, is it 22 witnesses that they were planning to call against Tamara Lich? None of them, not none, most of whom had never even met or heard of her, dealt with her phone or emailed her, talked to her, knew about her. You're calling 22 witnesses because you got nothing. If you had something, you would just call it. You wouldn't, why would, like, they had this Zexi Lee, who we talked about the other day, who, like me, had never met or heard of Tamara Lich, or maybe she heard of her, but she had never met with, interacted, observed her at all. But she was given the whole day just to talk about her feelings. That probably works on stupid CBC reporters or other government journalists or people who hate the truckers. But I think that this judge, from what I've seen, what I heard, what I read, I don't think that's working on the judge. In fact, if anything, I think the judge has got the prosecution's number here pretty quick. As you may know, Rebel News published Tamara Lich's autobiography. I mentioned that earlier in the show. And our cousins at the Democracy Fund are crowdfunding her legal defense. And I think the book was a great success. It was the #1 bestseller. And I think that the lawyers are going to win too. I think Tamara Lich is going to win her trial. Now, you should never say that. You should never tempt fate. And a judge is sort of poker-faced, right? But the absolute lack of, like, it would not surprise me if Lawrence Greenspan, the criminal defense lawyer, who's excellent, by the way, and I don't think I would say that lightly. I mean, I met a lot of lawyers in my day. He's excellent. I think there's a real chance he, after the prosecution has done their witnesses, that Greenspan says, Your Honor, we're calling no evidence. We're calling no witnesses. Let's just go straight to final arguments. There's nothing here, Your Honor. Like, it wouldn't surprise me because there's so little that the prosecution has. I mean, why even call Tamara Lich as a witness? That would just give the prosecution a chance to cross-examine her. Why even bother? They have nothing. I think it would be quite dramatic for Greenspan to say, yeah, Your Honor, we're not going to present any evidence. We're done. Let's go straight to a verdict. Here's our final thoughts. Oh, hi, everybody. Did you know that every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, we have a live stream where we talk about the news of the day, go over viral videos, hot tweets, hot takes, and we read your comments. In fact, if you make what's called a super chat or a rumble rant of $5 or more, we'll read your comment on the air and respond to it. I've been doing a lot of these live streams lately, but when I'm not here, my friends Sheila Gunn Reid and David Menzies do it too, and they are way more fun than me. But either way, it is a good show, and it's a way to stay up to date with the news of the day in short, snappy updates. It's not scripted. It's a live stream, and it's fun. You can always watch us on Rumble on YouTube, or just go to rebelnews.com. That's every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Justin Trudeau's new censorship law, Bill C-18. It's a shakedown and a desperate attempt to keep the mainstream media afloat. Many have already lost their ability to access our Facebook and Instagram pages. The blackout will soon affect every user in Canada. We've partnered with Private Internet Access, a VPN provider dedicated to safeguarding digital privacy. For just $2 a month, you can maintain your access to our content across all your devices at piavpn.com/rebelnews.